Hello there! You've reached Firearm Fury. Welcome! Today I wanted to go over how much it is to get set up for reloading. We'll go into this more, but if you're getting into reloading and you're going to get some decent quality items, I'd say you're going to be spending about $400 up to as much as you want to spend. But we'll go over more in detail. I've got a couple different packages that you could go with. This is just going to be for a single stage press. I use single stage press for all my rifle and a few Magnum pistols like 44 mag, 357, things like that. There's a couple different ways you can go. You can kind of pick and choose the tools you get on different manufacturers just based on your preference and what's going to work best for your application. Or you can buy a reloading kit and then buy just a few extra tools that you'll need to get going. Now I'll go over these three different options, three different packages I've kind of built up. I've got all of these products with the links down in the description below. I just looked up some items on Midway USA to give you a general idea there. You might be able to get some cheaper. The first one is buying a kit, buying kind of a more budget kit, but I feel like the press you get and the parts you get are still pretty good quality. A budget kit with still decent quality would be the Lee breech lock kit. Now, as we're getting into presses, there's two main styles. There's one that has kind of a rectangle frame around the ram, and there's another style which it just is kind of like a C over the ram. I prefer the rectangle frame around the ram. I just feel it like it gives it a little bit more stability, a little bit more durability and longevity. Honestly, it probably really doesn't matter, but that's just what I prefer. Anyway, the Lee breech lock kit, it does have that full enclosure of the ram. It also comes with a trimming system, but the only thing with this trimming system is, first of all, you have to use your hand. I don't know, there may be an attachment for a drill, and you would need to get about a $10 gauge for every different caliber that you trim. This kit also comes with a powder measurer, case lube, powder funnel, manual scale, like the balance scale, not the electronic scale. And then it comes with all the dechamfer, deburr, primer pocket, cleaner tools. The additional items you will need is a tumbler, some way to clean your brass. The cheapest, easiest way I have found is a tumbler with non-metallic media, such as corn, copper, walnut media. It's worked fine for me. I have a Frankfurt Arsenal tumbler. I've been reloading for about 8 years, and it's worked fine. So you can get a tumbler for about $45. You can get some corncob media for about $10. You can get some brass polish if you want. It's not necessary. Depending upon the die that you get, you may need to get some shell holders. Hornady sells a 5 shell holder pack for about $25. This will fit most of your rifles and of your Magnum pistols. You will also need a loading tray, and then you'll need dies for every different caliber that you choose to reload. I'll tell you my experience with dies and which ones I prefer. I've tried RCBS, Hornady, and Lee. Lee dies are the cheapest, and I actually do like Lee dies for pistols. It comes with a shell holder and everything. So if you're going to just buy Lee dies, then you probably don't need to get that shell holder pack. But I did include it on the price here for this package. But going back to the dies, I do not use Lee dies for rifles. I have tried a few sets of Lee dies for rifles. I do not like them. I guess the one exception is that I do use Lee dies for 450 SOCOM, and it seems to work well. And then we move to Hornady. I will use Hornady for rifles if I cannot get RCBS dies. And then RCBS is my preference for rifles. Now I know Redding makes dies, and Lyman and some other companies make dies, and those will probably be just as good as RCBS, if not better. They're definitely more pricey. Now this price here is just for one set of die, and it does include that shell holder pack. Although you can buy single shell holders for about $7 to $8. The other option for shell holders is to get a bigger pack, a pack of 12, which Lee makes, and those run you about $40. If you decide to buy, shell holder pack, you got to make sure that it's for the press. There's shell holders for different types of tools, for primers and trimmers and all kinds of things. So you just got to make sure that the shell holders are for the press. The other thing you'll need besides the kit is a powder trickler. I'd think that this would come with the kit, but it doesn't have it listed, so I guess it doesn't. You can get a cheap one for about $10. You'll need a set of calipers as well, which you can get for $23. If you go with the kit method and you get the pack of shell holders and the other things I mentioned, you're going to be right at $390. The kit plus the additional tools, who would I say this is for? I would say this package is for those people who are just going to be reloading a few calibers. This next kit is a budget kit with more specific tools. So I'll go over this list here. You're going to need the tumbler, the media, case prep tool. The one that I have here is the Lyman, and it includes, a deburr, chamfer, and primer pocket cleaner, and primer pocket reamer. It includes everything in one tool, and it's like $20. So I actually use this tool, and I've liked it a lot. And you also need to get a case trimmer tool. Now, the only issue, as I mentioned before, with that case trimmer tool that comes in the Lee kit is that you have to buy a different gauge every time, and I don't know that there's an option to use a drill. So if you're doing high volume, it will get very old to trim by hand. The case prep tool that I have included in this list is the Forester, and on Midway right now it's $110. I don't know if these prices are super high still, or some of them come down. I know the price of the dies at $70. That's definitely high. On Midway right now, that Forester case trim tool, which I use, is $112. And I'll tell you the reason why I decided to upgrade this thing. If you're trimming a decent amount of brass, you're gonna want a good case trimmer that you can adjust and that you can use, with most calibers. It has pretty much everything you need to reload most calibers. So you can change calibers without really having to purchase anything. There's an option that you can use to hook up a drill. It's just a lot more robust. And then again, as before, even if you bought the kit, you still have to buy this. Get a little pack of shell holders, unless you plan to use lead dies, which I wouldn't suggest for rifle. You're going to need a loading tray as well. You're going to need dies for each caliber. And then for the press, I actually just selected that press that comes in the Lee kit, that Lee breech lock press. Seems to be a pretty good press. That's not the press I use. I actually use a really old press. It's an RCBS Junior press. Unless you're loading 50 BMG or something, then this press should work fine for you. You're also going to need a scale. There's manual scales like a triple beam scale, and then electronic scales. I've used both, and I don't think it really matters. I just have an electronic scale here. We're going to need some case lube. The case lube that I put on this list is the Hornady Unique case lube. As I say, I've been reeling for about 8 years. I've used like a quarter of this. This stuff just lasts forever. It probably takes a little bit more time to apply because you got to apply it individually, but I like it. It doesn't leave any dents on the case. When I'm talking about dents, if you use too much lube on a case, sometimes it can put a dent in the case, which you don't want, but I've never had a problem with that lube. And now I did not include a powder measurer simply because you don't have to have one. It can make things go a little quicker, but for this kind of custom budget kit, I did not include that. But you will need a powder trickler. You can get a cheap one for about $10, and then you're going to need a set of calipers as well. Now, this kit with this product that I just got off Midway is going to run you about $440. So it's definitely a little bit more, about $50 more than just buying the kit and a few parts. But I've upgraded the trimming system, and you don't get a powder measure with this one, which it would save you a little bit of time, but I don't think it's a huge deal that you would absolutely need one. This kit would be good for those of you who just have a few calibers that you want to reload for, and that you think that you're going to continue to reload, and you're going to reload more calibers as you get more guns and as you get more experience. This would be a very good base to start out with, and then you could get some different items which would help going forward. My last little package would be for those of you whom definitely want to keep reloading. You've already got a handful of calibers you're going to reload for, probably going to get more, probably going to want to reload more, and you definitely want to stick with it. So first of all, same tumbler, same media. If you're to this point, you know you're going to be in reloading for the long haul. At this point, I would just get a media sifter. It'll just make things quicker. It'll just be worth it. It's an extra $20-25. Or you can buy a whole package with the media, the tumbler, and the sifter, for about roughly the same price, but you might get a better sifter if you do that. Same case prep tool as the package before, same trimming tool, and then shell pack holder, that same Hornady 5-pack one. You could go with the Lee at this point, which has the 12 shell holders, but I just have that Hornady one factored in here with the price. And then loading tray, you'll need some dies. With the press, I just went with that same press. It seems to be a good one. It should be durable and last you a while. Now for the powder scale, if you're to this point, I would highly suggest getting a automatic powder dispenser. So it dispenses the powder automatically and it weighs it automatically. If you're reloading a lot of any cartridge that you're weighing every single load, to stay consistent, to make your loads as accurate as possible, you're going to want this thing. This thing saves you so much time. I bought it and I was like, holy cow, I should have bought this when I very first started reloading bullets. So while this thing is measuring the powder, what I'll do is I'll clean the primer pocket and I'll prime the cases while that's getting my powder loaded, and I'll go through it that way. So by the time I've got everything primed, I've got most everything has powder in it too. That's like hiring someone to help you reload. It measures the powder for you, and that allows you to do other things while the powder is being measured. It's awesome. I love that thing. So definitely get an automatic powder dispenser. I have the RCBS. I don't know how the others would perform. I know there's the Frankfurt Arsenal makes one, Hornady makes one. I'm not sure how well those ones work, but this RCBS one, it works pretty good. So that's on the list. You're going to need case lube. You won't need a powder measure because you've already got an automatic powder dispenser and measurer. You won't need a powder trickler. I haven't used a powder trickler ever since I bought this thing. It's awesome. And then you're going to need a set of calipers as well. So if you get this kit, this one's definitely going to run you the most because that powder measure is like $300. So this one is about $720. Now the one advantage that I failed to mention that the reloading kit includes that the other packages don't is a hand primer tool. It comes with a hand primer tool, all the shell holders for it, everything you need for that. And I honestly have never used one. Make priming easier and faster than using the press. All presses come with the Lee press, and all the other presses that I'm aware of come with a priming system. You can just do it with what's included with the press, and it works fine for me. But this hand primer is a different system, and it allows you to prime more quickly. So that is the one advantage with that kit. And then I've kind of gone over the negative thing with the kit is the trimming. That trimming would be good for, if you're trimming 100 or less at a time. If you're just doing a couple calibers, it would be fine for it. But, as soon as you get a lot of calibers, you're trimming a lot of brass, you're going to have to keep buying these different shell holders and gauges for that trimming tool. You're going to wish you could use a drill, so that would be the negative thing about buying the kit. The advantage of not buying that kit, as I've kind of touched on before, is that the better trimmer setup. That the trimming just can take a lot of time, and if you have a good setup, you're able to have a drill which turns it for you. It'll really speed up the process, and it'll make it much smoother for you. And then obviously, if you choose to do that automatic powder dispenser, that's just a whole new ball game. It saves you a ton of time. But the negative thing about the other two packages without the reloading kit is that you don't get the hand priming tool. A hand priming tool does save you some time. If you get that powder measure, it kind of helps negate that, because you could prime while it's measuring your powders. Not a big deal. I've thought about getting one, but I don't think I will. But if you have one and you think it's just amazing, let me know. Maybe I'll look into getting one. Those are the three packages. Again, you've got that Lee reloading kit plus those few extra parts you're going to have to buy. That one's the cheapest at about $390. And again, this is for someone just getting into reloading. They just have few calibers. They're not sure if they're going to continue with it. Then you've got the budget package, which you've got a few calibers or a handful of calibers, and you're probably going to stick with reloading, but you're not completely sure. That one that runs about $50 more than the Lee reloading kit, very basic package, at about $435, $440. And then you've got the more advanced package, which includes the automatic powder dispenser. And those powder dispensers aren't cheap. You're probably going to spend anywhere from $250 to $300. So that package is about $720. But that package, if you're planning on being in reloading and you're going for accuracy, you're going to be weighing most of your calibers, then this is definitely the way to go. Anyways, guys, let me know what your thoughts are. Let me know if you have a reloading tool that you just love. I'd love to look into it. Thanks for watching. Remember to hit that like button, that subscribe button, and I'll see you next time on Firearm Fury.